Hey, what's up everybody? Brian Silva with How to Be a PJ. Today, very rainy and gloomy day today, but still nice change. We're gonna go out, Mike and I, and we're gonna do a float tank. So overall today, we're gonna be talking about kind of the theme is stress. We also got some questions that we got from Instagram from some of the people that follow me on there, and we're gonna be answering some of those just randomly out of a jar. So on top of that, of course, we're going to talk about some of the new things that happened this week, or about 2 weeks ago. It's the new PAST standards that are coming out. I know they're lower, just spoiler alert, they're lower if you haven't seen it yet. So we're going to talk about, what we think about that stuff. We'll get there when we get there. But right now, I'm on my way to do that float tank. And then we'll talk about ways that we like to de-stress, answer some questions. Hope you guys enjoy this. And we'll keep on doing this stuff again. Let us know down in the comments, other stuff that you might want to hear, or if you thought something about whatever we were talking about differently, then go ahead and drop it down in the comments. We are here for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and make sure you check out some other videos up here on YouTube. All right, I'll see ya in a bit.
Held in the echoes, secrets that we know, doors that open for us in a moment. Keeping the light on, righting old wrongs, keeping our sights on everything we want. We catch our breath in the middle of it all.
What's up, dude? Jones? Way to go.
Trees, I'm keeping watch. All that is storming, waking up and turning on, keeping the light on, righting all the wrongs, keeping our sights on.
Alright, so just got done with the float tank, and that was a super awesome experience, honestly. I didn't really have much expectations for it, because in my mind it's like you're just floating in water. How cool could that be? But I mean, I don't really get a lot of time to think most of the time, because I'm always doing one thing to the next and hurrying to whatever place I'm going to. So that was definitely worth the time and the money that I just dropped on that. So that's awesome. What's up everybody? Brian Silva with How to Be a PJ.
What's up, Dirty Cones? Mike Maroney.
Do another video just because you guys have been requesting over and over again, and you guys loved the last video. I hope you enjoyed and got something out of it and was able to help you in some way. We're going to get to your Instagram. All people from Instagram, we polled you guys, asked you to give us some questions. My wife was nice enough to make this little bowl for us, so we're going to pick them at random. We haven't looked at all of these ones in here. We don't have too much things pre-planned, but we're gonna go off the cuff and answer you guys' questions. And then also just a couple things as far as my stuff. I'm coming out with a couple more shirts. The event's gonna be in late April, most likely, which is right before I'm PCSing. It's in Nebraska. And then also we're gonna talk about our thoughts on A&S and our thoughts on the new PAST test. So we just got done with that
With the float?
The float tub. That was freaking awesome. It's well worth the money, and I would recommend that. And I'm definitely gonna do it again. No doubt about that. I didn't expect the massage chair. That was an awesome touch, just being able to sit there and get massaged in that awesome room. And yeah, it was a little bit difficult for me to chill out for a second whenever I first got in there. Like, I was just thinking about my muscle aches, and I was like, oh crap, my jaw is clenched. Oh, my neck is like, so, you know, I started like relaxing, and once I was able to do that, Like, everything else melted away, and I was able to just focus on one thing that I wanted to think about. It's like, so I got some stuff that I recorded myself, like the things that I was thinking about. So
Right.
I think that was a cool experience for sure. So thanks for inviting me and taking me out to that.
Well, glad. I think that's what we need. Like I said, last Thursday, I was ready to set the town on fire, and you just step into this room, close the door, you get into the hatch, and you close, and there's no sound. Asleep.
Yeah.
Just out. No problems, no worries, no nothing. Just,
It's also that little feeling that you have this hour. Like, no one's going to come and bother you unless there's a freaking fire in the building. Then you just have this hour where you don't have to think about anything else besides whatever you want to think about.
Yeah, and when do you ever get to do that? Never, because you're always family, future, college, kids, everything.
Yeah. Just going from place to place, doing one thing to another, school, got to come home, diaper, it's crazy right now, but...
So you guys, before you go to bed, like a half hour, put the phone away. Because the TV, the phone, if you want to read or you want to do something to relax, that'll help you meditate. Just sit there and think about, what I do today, how's tomorrow going to happen, what can I do better, right? So at Indoc, went to bed 7:30, but I'm sitting there going, all right, how's my stuff's laid out, my shoes are ready, everything's ready to go, so I don't have to worry about anything. Tim Ferriss, you ever listen to any of his podcasts? Mm-hmm. And he's got a really good one on stoicism, and he says, all right, you plan for worst case scenario, what happens to not make that happen? What am I going to do to make sure this doesn't happen? Okay, worst case scenario, now it has happened, what am I going to do after that? So then you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah. And that's one of the things about managing stress that was kind of one of the things that we're going to talk about, just because we're going to a float tank, and that's one of the ways that you've been helping manage a lot of your stress and things that you're thinking about that you just can't think through, because that is frustrating when you have a problem in front of you, but you just don't have the time to put the brain power to solve it. It's like, man, I really need to fix this, or it's that thing that's in the back of your head, like, oh man, I need to clean the garage. I know I need to, every time I go in there, I need to clean the garage.
Right.
So, finally getting time to actually clean the garage out there, then that gives you that thing, organize everything in your mind. And then preparing the night before, I still do the same thing. Like whenever I make sure I have my socks, my underwear, my shirt, my uniform, my belts attached to my things ready, my laces, my boots are set out. I just have everything in my backpack ready to go, because when I wake up in the morning, everyone knows that you're more tired, so you don't want to forget everything, because that just starts everything off, and it's like a downhill freaking tumble snowball effect where one bad thing happens, like you forget to put on your I forgot to put on my watch today. Like, oh, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. Like, man, this is a crappy day.
But you learn to stop that snowball before it becomes an avalanche. Mm-hmm. Because just because the run sucks doesn't mean that Cal's has to suck too, and I mean, how many people have quit on the run because they were thinking about WaterCon?
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's the only reason that anybody quits on a run. They're just like, yeah, I just didn't want to do that WaterCon. I was like, why? We weren't even doing anything. Like,
we were 3 hours from now.
Yeah.
But because of that snowball effect, so no matter what is going on, okay, I didn't put my watch on. Okay.
Yeah.
Reset, breathe. Because my problem right now isn't me. Like, I have no problems. It's everybody around me. Mm-hmm. And I think back to RT with, he had 5, what's going to kill me first? What's my 5 meter, my 10 meter, my 20 meter, my 30? Mm-hmm. Where am I? Am I surrounded on all sides? And, so I'm a big, kill what's going to kill me first. And then, that's just triage. And that's life. So this is what you have to do. Anger management, stress management, life management.
Yeah. And also for me, being scatterbrained, not being able to solve a problem, it's very frustrating. That's why I have a whiteboard right next to me right here, so I don't forget things. So that's one of the things that I always did, especially at work. There's a million things, people that you need to interact with, emails you need to send, just things that need to get done.
Right.
So if you write that stuff down, I usually would do it the day before, the night before, or at very least on Monday or Sunday, like write it out. This is what I'm going to do. These are the main things that I want to do for the weekend or for the week. And then beyond that, like, you know, stuff's going to pop up. It's not going to be like you're only doing this, but you just write it out. And at least if you get those main things done, then you can like breathe a sigh of relief, because those are the important things that have been on your mind and like just cycling through your head. So don't let that cycle through your head. Get it done, work on it, and then afterwards you're like, I can breathe. Like,
You got your whiteboard. I got my notes.
Yeah.
I mean, I write notes. I sit there all the time, just little notes to myself, something to go. Think about this. Think about that. Talk about this. Just for myself. I don't know about you, but I feel. Well, yeah, you're doing the same thing, because I saw your "Don't Be Afraid" video the other day. You're working through issues. Like, we're letting them see this is how our mind works. So you're going ABC, 1, 2, 3, whatever you have to logically get through something to survive, and you know, all right, what is my 5-meter target? What's my 20? What's my small goal? What's my daily goal? What's my life goal? Mm-hmm. You know, what am I trying to do? And all those little goals add up to big goals, or, you know, they might even be totally different from each other, but breathing every day and being grateful for, you know, ta-da.
Yeah, that was one of the things also that I was thinking about in the float tank. I was just like, man, I'm so lucky right now that I live in a place, and I'm in a place in my life that I can like afford to do this. Like, you know, be able to just sit in a tank and I could get a massage on a chair and get a like all that stuff. That is, you know, that's a good life. Like, being able to just be able to do that.
And that's pararescue. I mean, you're getting paid to stay healthy, to work out, to be like a Shaolin monk, you know, to function as the Air Force paid us to think, right? Airman Maroney, what are we going to do? Well, I think we should do this. Okay, sounds like a plan, right? And you're looking at these full bird colonels going, whoa, okay.
You said yes.
You said yes.
That was a good plan. You don't want to like revise that or anything?
You don't have any questions? No, sounds like a good plan. All right, let's go with it, you know. The confidence, right? You know, not like a fake it till you make it, because you shouldn't do something that you're not qualified. Yeah, we can jump. I've never been to jump school. I mean, well, I guess that's how pararescue started, but technically, you shouldn't do something you don't know how to do. You know, so swim with a buddy, you know, don't do anything dangerous, per se. But once you become a PJ, you're almost paid to be, you know, so I tell people, I'm like, hey, be safe. And they're like, well, I'm in combat. How can I be safe? Well, because you're well trained, you're well prepared, you're with other men and women, or people, period, who are same mindset, well armed, well intentioned. We're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how do you prepare to jump out of a plane and fall to the earth at 130 miles per hour? You make sure everything's checked, double checked the night before. You had your riggers that checked it. You had your, obviously there's science that went into the creation of the parachute.
Yep. Like,
just all of this preparation allows you to do things that, you know, before would have never been thought possible.
Nope.
So, yeah, I think that is super important, especially in getting over the, like you're talking about, the fears and stuff, and then reducing your anxiety and your stress, because you're able to confidently go and, you know, talk or be prepared for whatever speech. Like you said, writing stuff down, preparing the night before. I used to be terrified. I failed public speaking back when I was in college, like small group speaking, because I was really, like, I used to get super nervous, and I couldn't, like, enunciate any of the things that I wanted to put out, and I was just not good at it. So, you know, I prepared. I did this over and over again. Obviously, doing it right now,
right,
to a bigger audience than I would have ever thought that my voice would have carried to. So, I know I'm appreciative of that, but I think what got me there was just taking those small steps, like you said, and then preparing as much as I possibly can, and then researching my topic so I knew that I was confident enough to talk on that topic. Like,
right.
You know, obviously pararescue, we've lived it for a long time, and we both feel confident that we can, you know, answer this whole bowl of questions that are
like
that are right here. Yeah, it's just off the top of our head because we have enough confidence and experience to just, this is what I think about that thing. So,
on deployments, so, well, I won't say names, but we used to all teach classes. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So you learn this, you learn that, and everybody's, you know, and every week you're given a small unit tactics or bomb theory, explosion, blah, 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 you know. and you would get smarter and learn. And I didn't get into the whole your PowerPoint, you didn't have flat.
Yeah,
where's the crest and all this? I'm like, no, I'll give you a PowerPoint.
I remember our PowerPoints were more like, you didn't include any chicks in the keys or whatever. And that was always like the thing, like, you're boring me, put an interesting picture of
right,
it.
I got you.
I don't know if you should put that.
wait, no, we can't, because this is where what people do because death by PowerPoint, right? That's a real thing.
Putting a PJ or anyone like us in a room and telling us, look at this, and just pay attention for an hour. Like, no, but I gotta go. Let's go do this. Let's go out and train
But the concept in now A&S being like a gut check. Like, what have you got? Yes, the standards are lower, but that doesn't mean that the standards are lower. That just means we can get more people in the door. But these guys are finding out, no, so different times through InDoc, hey, let's be nice to them on day one. No, let's kill them on day one.
Yeah.
No, let's, and now A&S is like, boom, day one.
Yeah. So, like we said, let's talk about A&S, switch the topic over to kind of like what you've heard, because I know you're talking to a bunch of dudes, and I'm talking to a couple of guys that did some of the programs, and how they're doing down there at A&S. If you guys don't know already, there was around 130 students that started, and by day 2 there was about 50 students that were there still on the team. Obviously, most of those were SIEs. I don't know of any injuries or anything like that, but most
all
of those
quitters
were SIEs. So, with that being said, so what you have to do to prepare for this kind of thing, and the reason why I think personally why there were less guys, and from what I've heard, it's just like the anticipation. It's like, and the instant change, because in SW prep, it's like, hey bro, hey
man, you working out, dude? Are you getting?
And they're like, they actually have float tanks, and they're like Tempur-Pedic beds. Like, this is gonna be cool.
And the shakes and the protein, and
they get like everything that they could possibly want. And then they go down to Medina. The dorms kind of suck, and the facility. You're going to be out in the field, rolling around, doing a bunch of stuff in the pool, and it's going to be like people yelling at you, not saying, "Hey, you should change this and this and this." It's like, no, you've already been taught.
Yep.
You had 8 weeks of SW prep.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come in hard and fast, and it's going to suck for you guys. So the dudes that I talked to, they're like, man, that was definitely a kick in the balls, and it's something that like they didn't know how to prepare for fully.
Right.
But you can't.
You
can't really replicate someone sitting there
In your
yelling
face.
at you and really pushing you to do that. You can try. You can go further. Do more push-ups than you've ever done by yourself. You can do
it's not
so much more. Yeah.
And the train like you're gonna live like you're gonna die, like you're gonna everything is real. You can't get that until you're here. So what can they do before they get here? Like you said, do more push-ups. Oh, you know what? It's lunchtime. I should do more. Right? The only bad workout is the workout that didn't happen.
Yeah. Exactly. And if you spend like freaking a minute every hour or whatever, just getting in that position, like in the push-up position, front leaning rest, because you're going to spend a lot of time in the front.
Yeah, you are.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
Front leaning rest. And then the other thing about the new A&S is that there are no real standard, like there's no progress checks. It's straight up like you were going to be selected. Either you quit, and there's also going to be an actual selection process where they're going to, look at, okay, on this day you did this day you did this. They're taking notes on all the stuff that you're doing.
Right.
So not only looking for a person that's strong and a caveman, but also, strong as well as intelligent enough to be like, oh, I shouldn't touch that stove because it's hot.
Ow.
They want to,
Ow, right.
Even if the instructor's telling you touch the stove, you're like, no. Think through the process. Think through ways to make sure your team's safe, basically.
Right.
Because that's the real world. We don't want guys that are just going to be like, hey, I need you to go on this mission. you have to be like, the risk on this mission is extremely high, and these are the reasons why the mission is extremely risky, because this, and this. Obviously, we're willing to do whatever it takes. Especially, I mean, I'm not talking about like
right, but we negate the you see the problem. This is what we can do to negate it. Bam. And
obviously, all of us want to go out there and save a person, but there are times when
you can't.
Like, I was tasked with a mission, and it was like, we want you to go pick up these things on the bottom of the ocean. They're just objects that really, I mean, there's not a lot of value added to it, but it's, miles and miles and miles outside. You have to dive to 200 feet, and the dive chamber is super far away. So it's like, is that worth it to my team? No, I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to like send my team down there and tell them like, Mike didn't come home because we were trying to pick up this
water bottle
object. Yeah, it's like, no, that's not worth it. But if it's a person's life on the line, obviously we want to do everything we can.
Right.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Well, your safety beyond a point is cowardice. We plan, we prepare, and then we go. Or, you know what? We can't go. It's too dangerous. Nobody's going. There's some missions that people they don't happen. Or how many years were they waiting for the raid on Bin Laden?
Oh yeah. They had time to build compounds and just replicate over and over and over again. So yeah, I mean they're waiting forever for the right moment. But so. On the A&S thing, what other things have you heard about specifically, like, things that guys should get in the head, or reasons why you think that dudes quit?
Because they're not prepared. They're S&W prep. Not saying there's anything wrong, because that is. So they used to have IFAM, and it was like crawl, walk, run is INDOC, and A&S same style, except for now you are walk, run. I mean, you're there because they've already given you that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So come here. Just because standards are lower, you still aim for high. And just because there aren't any tests, there aren't necessarily tests in life or in whatever that you have to do. Now, when I went through, it was Mondays were evals and, everything was set. Now you take one, maybe two, and it's all, well, what do I see you doing? Which I think probably is technically better, because we always had the argument, well, just because a guy can do 75 push-ups...
Yeah. Do you really want him on your team?
Yeah. Or he can't do 75 push-ups, but this dude would bring so much... I mean, how many students do you see? One push-up or one sit-up, and you're like...
Come on, dude.
I've gotten so angry at students that I'm just like, I hate you. I hope because you can see it's right there. They have it and they just choke or they fail or they quit. And you're like, oh, dude, I see something in you that you don't see. And as an instructor, I always believe, hey, you give me 100%, I will give you 100%, because at the teams, that's what we need. So you're having a bad day. Don't talk to me during WaterCon. Don't talk to me on the run. Maybe hit me up at lunch or get me at the end of the day for the debrief with your proctor. Hey, how was your day? Sir, it was a horrible day. Yeah. I remember, so the team leaders would have to write like assessments on guys, and there was this one assessment, and it said the day hung on him heavy like a wet sweater. I'm reading this going, the day, what are you, Hemingway? What is this stuff, But it was his assessment, I guess, but put it out there, lay it on the line, come here with everything you got. Don't come here until you're ready. Yeah. As ready as you possibly can be. If you're at the store with 2 jugs of milk, hold them out. I'm doing this. Why? Why not?
Yeah. Who cares? Everyone's going to look at you funny and like, what is this guy doing? If you're not hurting anybody, then you're just fine. Just freaking whatever you got to do to practice throughout the day, like drop down to your push-ups, whether you're in your office or whatever. That'll motivate people to get out of their bubble and continue like to make their own progress, because you're not going to go forward with staying in your little bubble like, this is my only time that I have to work out. No, you have your body. You can go do anything, do pull-ups off of whatever you got, go do freaking push-ups, do squats, do chair dips, anything. Like, just continue.
Sit up straight, breathe, right? Once an hour you should be, get rid of that stale air because it's not helping you.
Yep, exactly. And if you continue to do that, just that little tiny progress, it's more than what you would have done if you were just sitting there. So that's going to help you, and especially because if something like this in preparation is on your mind, you know that you're doing this job because you're tired of whatever you're doing back in your old life.
Right.
That's why I was doing it, because I was, I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. So when I was training, it was like pararescue was just always on my mind. Every single thing that I was doing is like, I'm at work, my gym bag's good to go, so I'm going to leave here at this time so I can go train. All right, make sure. So I was watching the clock. It's like, all right, ready to go on this thing. Or I'd add, like I used to be a server, so I'd get like the heaviest trays. And
there you go.
Let me help you out and, bring out the food if I wasn't doing anything. I just kept myself moving as much as I could, because I was just like, I'm going to make myself work, and, I'm going to make it.
Everything. What about, so my parents were cops, right? And I was grilled a lot, got in trouble a lot as a teenager. So when I got to see her, I'm like, oh, this is a Friday night. I'm ready for this. So everything can tie into other things. Mm-hmm. I sold my car and I rode my bicycle everywhere because I wanted to have as good a cardio. And I was like, well, I know that, running is hard on your body, so I will do a certain amount of running, but I also need a lot of cardio. Ta-da, bicycle.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Gray Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Kip's him and Young's. I mean, what is he, like 90?
95, easy. But look, he looks like he's 35.
Still an instructor?
I love that man.
Yeah, it's awesome. You'll meet him when you get down there.
You'll see him. El Gato Grayo.
Yeah. Okay, so we still need to get to these questions. But thoughts on lowering the standards? I know we hit on it a little bit, but what are your thoughts on the lower PAST standards? Like the calisthenics are lower, run time slower, swims slower. So what do you?
I think back to Master Sergeant DeSola, who was the commandant when I came through, and he's like, the momentum of mediocrity just continues, and he would just, why are you aiming for the lowest? You're a pararescueman. This is you. This is where you're aiming for Everest. You're not aiming for, we're going for a 600, little hill. No, dude, you're going for the peak of everything, So give it all. Do it all. They're lower standards so we can get more people. The past has always been, okay, so if you could not run this fast a time, or if you couldn't do this amount of push-ups, nobody's ever graduated, right? But that is the lowest, right?
Yeah.
So don't come to eek.
Do not do that. I think it also ties into what you were talking about before, is like, you want a guy that is more intelligent and that can also be, is physically adept as well. So if by lowering the standards, that allows more wiggle room for the intelligence to muscle ratio. So I think that is the, reason behind it overall. But it's also, I think, got to think of it like this is a selection, guys. Also, everything that happens at a selection is a test. So if you go in there and you're barely passing, obviously you're not going to be looked at very highly by the people who are selecting people.
Right.
If you go in there and you're like crushing everything and you're over the INDOT grant, the old. All right, so the camera shut off right there, just so you guys know. Anyways, so you'll be over.
All right, so 34.
Yeah, 34. So if you're over the INDOT grad standards, then the instructors are going to look at you and they're like, wow, this guy's like well prepared. He's done everything he's needed to do in order to get to that point. And we know that we don't need to spend time trying to smoke his balls off. He's good. Let's worry about the mental part and see what he's got in that aspect. So
when I was a student, they wanted you to pass out. You were supposed to pass. If you didn't pass out, right? But now you can pass out once, and if you pass out twice, they're looking at you as, is there some other problem? Because doctors don't understand. Well, why would you do that? They don't understand the drive that you want to be a PJ. So they're looking for, well, maybe mentally there's something wrong, or cardiologically there's something wrong, and there's not. But you have to know when to be smart, when to be hard. So like when you go to the chamber, and you're like, number 3, put on your mask,
and you're just like,
what? And they're like, did you feel anything? All right, so before I pass out, it gets fuzzy on the edges, and if I'm not breathing by about here, I'm done. It'll go boom, and then I'm out. So when I start feeling this, or I start losing color, or my nose gets warm, things like that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to notice that I'm losing color, though. I do definitely lose color, because once I start getting O2 again, then everything dries up like, oh, crap, I was losing. But my fingertips get numb a little bit, and I feel like a little bit just like I had a couple beers or something like that. I'm just like, okay, I got to breathe. But if when you go to the LC chamber, don't fail the LC chamber. Just get a couple symptoms and then put that mask back on, because dudes fail the LC chamber, and then you have to send them back, which delays you getting into dive school and training.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't fail the LC chamber when you guys go there. Yeah, it was annoying when people do that. Like, what? 5 guys failed? Are you kidding me? I told you guys specifically yesterday, do not make this a competition, because this is not a competition. This one right here, because you're going to fail.
You get 2 symptoms.
Yeah, write it down. Throw that thing on.
But I always thought pararescue, like, I'm an extremist, but I'm a very safe extremist, right? All right, I'm jumping at night, but I'm well trained. I'm this, I'm that. I've checked my gear. So it may sound, people are like, whoa, that's dangerous. It is, but it isn't, because we're prepared.
And it also becomes a lifestyle. It's like, why do you drive your car every day? That's dangerous. It's like, yeah, but there are safety precautions that are input in the car. I put on my seatbelt.
Yeah.
I pay attention and drive and don't look on my phone.
Yep.
It's just like that. More people die in car accidents than definitely skydiving or scuba diving or anything else. So, I got to put that into context and think about it that way.
Yeah. Joe Rogan had a joke where he was talking about Bob died of cancer from milk. Well, then Bob's a vagina. I'm like, yeah, dude, because that life is hard, and you have to be hard to be a PJ or be a SEAL or be a combat controller. We need hard people. Whether it's a man or a woman, you need to be strong physically, mentally, spiritually, mind, body, everything. We need total package. So bring your A game. And don't accept anything other than your best, and be like, I'll do better tomorrow,
Yeah, exactly. And that was, if you haven't read the book Legacy, make sure you check that out. Also, it's one of the books that you need to read at A&S. But so listening to that, like when I go on my runs and stuff like that, they're just talking about if you do that thing that's a standard, but if you do a little bit more than that every single time and practice more than that, then that's what makes people from good to great. It's just that little bit of extra that you're adding to this, just makes your, whatever the end result is or whatever you're working on, just, wow, that's way better. It makes it stand out because everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's doing this minimal level.
Right.
That's easy to do. But once you start stepping it up and making a better product of yourself and of all the things that you do, it just becomes ingrained, and that's what makes a person special operations and PJ. So
inches make miles.
Yeah.
You just a little bit better, and then you're like, whoa, look. I mean, 'cause think about the day one, these kids show up and they're, but then when you see them when they graduate, dude, did you get taller or something? Yeah. What's up with this?
Yeah, you're like, dang, those guys are pretty jacked. I need to start working out. I need to get ready for this next class.
But they need to be.
Yeah.
Because evolution, they need to be, the dogs are out.
Yeah.
Bigger, faster, better, stronger, smarter than we are, because shit's coming faster. And it's going to keep coming. And you got to be able to go, I can breathe.
Yep.
We're good. How are you? I'm good. All right, boom. Let's go.
Just keep walking.
Yep.
Take that hydration break. All right, we still got the rest of the mountain to climb.
Right, take a knee.
Start going.
There's nothing wrong with taking a knee. You're checking your compass. You're checking your bearings. You're checking how's everybody. Did we drop anything? Did we lose anybody? Right. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. You just got to get back up.
Anything else that you want to say about the PAST test? I think we're good.
We may have killed that.
I think we overdid it, but it's all right. Make sure review. Make sure you're going over. It's a selection. Train for the over in grad centers. Make it as a thing that you're training for every day on your mind. And anything else? Points.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
As well as possible.
All right. Let's get into these questions now. I'll let you do the honors now. Like again, we
randomly selected. We haven't
randomly selected a bunch of things.
We did go through some of them, and
we did
like
the doubles and the ones that are just like super vague. Like, what should I do to be a PJ, or like vision requirements and stuff like that. If you guys want questions answered about vision, or you had a surgery, or you're still qualified, we're not recruiters, so we can't answer those questions. But anything that has to do with mindset or training, obviously we can answer those questions. Oh, the chunky one.
All right, we got
the skinny one. Which one?
I give you a choice.
Oh, you pick.
So I pick, and then I make you, and then I let you. All right, we'll go with an easy one, and then we'll do the.
What is? I'm thinking.
Well, it's small.
Okay.
Did we already do that one?
Okay. Why did the PAST test lower the standards?
To get more people in.
Okay, we already answered
that. All right. What is something you learned on your journey mentally that helped you get as far as you did? Now, first off, as we did, I think we're still going, so we're still there. We're all right.
I'm still alive, and I'm still answering this question, even though, as far as I did. Wait, do you know something I don't? Is something gonna happen to me right now? Before I finish this statement? No, I think I was thinking about this actually in the tank, and something that I've learned, and we were talking a little bit about travel and stuff. So I think life itself is a journey. And you're trying to find. This might get a little too deep because I was in that float tank.
Deep's good. Dude,
I was in that float tank.
Hit me, I'm ready.
So life itself, to me, I was thinking is a journey, and on that you're trying to figure out the person that you are. Like you don't know it yet because you haven't been exposed to all these things. So I think like we were talking about with the travel, with all the other stuff, the good stuff, the bad stuff that we've been through, and how we've reacted to that in the past, or able to adapt to that in the future. It's a journey, and if you just stay in whatever state of mind that you're in right now, especially if it's a negative state of mind, then you're never going to be able to see the entire picture that's right before you.
Right.
So if you're just focusing in, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to stay in this little corner right here and never do anything else, you're never going to find out the person that you are, because you're just staying right there. Go across the world, go experience things, even if you don't agree with whatever things they are. Obviously don't hurt anybody, but
right.
Things things that you never tried friggin' dancing in this a two-step, or eating Indian food, or
running with bulls,
or whatever. Just go out there and experience life, and putting yourself through those situations, especially through a situation like selection, because you're going to go through a lot of different emotions there. That is going to make you into the person that's actually going to form you, the person that you're going to become. All these little things, you're going to become a formed person and object, especially in your own head. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, a fully realized human being.
Yeah.
And to be a PJ, what is it? So you need a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, because you need to have your teach me. My eyes are open. My eyes are open. My ears are open. Take it all in. And I was thinking about when you were 17, 18, are you the same person you were?
No, absolutely.
Right. So maybe, all right, so some things I still am, but some things you're not. So who you are in your 20s, my godfather gave me this, and this, along with your deep, I like this, is he's like, all right, in your 20s, you're like, who are you? What do I stand for? What am I doing? And then in your 30s, get a little bit more comfortable, and you're like, well, this is where I'm kind of at, And in your 40s, this is who I am, But as a pararescueman, I think I was there at 23. I'm not that I was fully realized or who I am now or along my journey, but to be a PJ, you have to grow up quicker. Your responsibility levels and all those kind of things. So you're stepping up, and you're able to take more on, and you're able to accept more because as soon as you got your 3 level, you're 5 level. As soon as you got your 5 level, 7 level. As soon as you got your assistant, boom, you're full team leader, your ground team leader, your jump master. I was like, whoa. I just learned how to do the job.
Yeah.
Now I have to teach other people how to do the job? Whoa.
It's quick, and you become a 7-level team leader, and you're like, holy crap. All right, so I'm in charge of all these guys that are coming in right now. And I think, like going back to like exposing the whole picture, as a PJ, like you're expected to lead guys into combat. You're responsible for these people's lives that are, right below you. And based on whatever you do, that is going to determine whether or not this person gets to see their family, or you get to see your family again. So, being in those situations, that just exposes so much more of the big picture way faster than I think most people get to experience in their lives. So I couldn't have done it any better than being a PJ. It's the career field has just given me so much, and I'm extremely grateful that I've been able to have the experiences that I have, and that's part of it is that we need to also continue, like even when we're 40, we know who we are, but we know that we like to continue learning. We're going to continue growing until the day that we die.
Right.
I mean, that is just who we are.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and we're put on this earth. We're not going to waste the time.
Mm-mm.
At least learn more stuff, give back to people, all the things that you learn, spread that positive type of message that is going to help people. That way we leave this place better than we found it whenever we first arrived. So I think,
And I think, so my thing that I learned mentally, 1 foot in the grave is still 1 foot in the fight, right? You're still in it, even if you're like, I'm holding on, I'm still in there. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, 2 feet in the grave might even be better because then I'm a more stable platform and I can shoot better, right?
Yeah.
So, because if all a foxhole is it's a grave. So I'm set. If I die. The others may live. It's not about me. It's about other people. So you ever see The Rock? Where is it? He flies around the helicopter and then LA's burning with the volcano, I think, or something, or a flood.
I know what you're talking about. He was out there rescuing people.
Right. But then he quits, and then he becomes, because the guys die. San Andreas. All right, so the earthquake and the floods. If you watch that movie is pure pararescue because the girl is dead. He hasn't jumped in years, but he's got his parachute in his helicopter, so he's always prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Everything in that movie is just pararescue. It's like, well, I did it once before. I think we'll be all right, Or she's dead, and he's brings her back. I mean, she's way dead.
Yeah.
Brings her back. Why? Because you have to have ruthlessly hopeful to be a PJ. You need to have enough desire to live for 2 people because the people you're working on, they're giving up. I mean, they're bleeding, they're dead, so you're like, no, dude, you will live. Why? Because I'm going to help you.
You need to have enough fight in you for yourself and for the person that's right next to you that is that close to the grave. That's awesome, yeah.
So I think mentally, it's a good question. So thank you to whoever asked that.
Yeah.
Let's go for another. I like them big.
The papers.
The papers.
I don't know why you guys are going there.
Ooh, here we go. What's more important, being a good team leader or being a good team player? Both.
Yeah. Obviously, you got to be both. I think you got to be able to play before you can lead.
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, I think a good team leader is one that knows the game inside and out and is able to play. And also, they don't have to be like the best person on the team currently. They have to know how to make their guys the best people on the team and be invested enough in order to actually care whether or not they are. Yeah. So I think that's, for me, caring about the guys and the team is really where that is going to push people to be a leader. Like, even if you don't like to be out there in front and be a leader, like just caring and making sure that you put everything that you have into that team and making it the best, that's going to make the team leader.
you know your people, and you draw the goodness out of them, or you draw like, hey, dude, you okay? I'm having a bad day. Talk to me, right? You need to be there. A good leader is a good follower, is a good, because there's always somebody ahead. We're not generals, so somebody is above you, and so working together, learning each other, knowing what my strengths, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, so then we can work together and we don't have any weaknesses because we can cover, and that's pararescue, right? That's why there's two, or SIF. One or the other.
Yeah.
But I think back to, there's a really good book by the Kentucky basketball coach, and it's called Players First. And his whole concept is players first, right? What's best for the player? What's best for that person? Because he's a coach, but he's also maybe a dad. He's a mentor. He's all these things to these guys. Well, what's more important? Do they need good grades, or do they need to be better basketball players? Well, you need good grades so you can play basketball. And you want to be a well-rounded human being, so don't be stupid. Ta-da. But the whole idea, and I think about to the Air Force, and this is what I've always tried to do, and this is kind of how the YouTube video started, was, well, I need to help the Air Force. So what's good for the Air Force? Is it good for me? Hey, that's nice. But what's best for the Air Force? What's best for pararescue? What's going to do the most good? Versus, people in life who are like, well, it helps me out. Maybe it helps out somebody else, But if you put other people first, service before self, to me, it always kind of turns out okay.
Yeah.
Because,
and then also, like, we know that we're not going to be able to take the money to our grave or anything like that. What's going to happen whenever we die is these thoughts and these... I don't know if these YouTube videos would be like that.
Right? People are like, look at these two guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What are these two dudes talking about? Or maybe this will be like a big hit or something. But either way, it's about us and our ideas that we had at this point in time, that we were trying to make people better, and we were trying to help all these people that, even if you're not trying to be a PJ, you're trying to do something else, like the same thought process applies.
Yep.
Like, have you ever read Leaders Eat Last?
Yep.
That book by Simon Sinek? That's a really good book. He has a lot of points in there, but specifically he's talking about,
take care of your people.
About. Yeah, just take care of your dudes, and that makes you a leader in their eyes, because those guys that are up in the front pushing everyone out of the way because they're, the officer or the whatever,
right?
They're not seen as a leader. Mm-hmm. They're seen as a person with rank. Yeah. So in order to be a leader, you have to be a good team player. Think about your men first, just like you're saying. Yeah. So I totally agree with that. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you to whoever. These are good. Like, see, quality cones.
I know.
Right? They're not as dumb as we think they are. Ooh, here's another good one. Expectations of a cross trainee.
You can go on first on this one.
All right. So I would look at, like, where'd they come from? Right? They're Marines. My favorite PJs were Marines, because I think that the hardness of a Marine, I could never be a Marine. Like, I'm just like, you want me to do the no, dude, I'll die for a good reason.
Did you say dude?
Right? But my favorite, you take that Marine mindset, of we're going to, because I'm going to put my head down and just get through kind of a person. So they've got that, but then you give them a little bit of the Air Force kind of dude, like, just relax a little bit. Yeah. And then you just see that flourish, because they've got that dedication and the commitment. But then you temper it with, hey, we're helping. That's why there are no medics in the Marine Corps, because they're afraid of undoing the brainwashing of killing. So I expect more out of a cross trainee. I expect more out of an older guy. But I don't think they're unreal expectations, because these are what you should be expecting of yourself. What I expect of myself is higher and more than maybe what somebody else might expect of themselves. But how else are you going to be a PJ unless you expect nothing but the best? I'm a perfectionist who has never done anything perfect, but I try really, really hard. So I expect the same out of those guys. A little bit smarter, come prepared. Because if you suck at underwaters and you're the team leader, when you quit,
Yeah.
How many guys are going to go, on average, 5 guys quit with an NCO or a senior airman who quit because they couldn't do something. Well, that guy couldn't do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing about, like, when I was going through NDOC too, we had some guys that were prior service, and they were like a ranger, one was a recon guy, and I just got in the Air Force. I was like, wow, this guy's obviously a badass. You know, he's
He must know something.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. So automatically, I looked up to him. Obviously, they didn't quit or anything like that, but you invest a lot as a younger person into these guys that you're like, man, these are older people. They're like, I don't know, 26 or 28 or something at the time. And I was like, they're not that much older, but they have a lot of experience, and they definitely have a lot more than I do. So, you know, I respect that, if nothing else. And they were studs also, which helped. So, you know, going through that and seeing the leaders like that, that's kind of what I would expect out of a cross trainee. It's like you're able to, no question, pass everything already. Like you already know what the test is going to be. At least come prepared to X, Y, and Z level.
Yep.
But beyond that, you should be able to move all that stuff aside, focus in on your men, because that's where you're supposed to be taking your time. That goes back to the other question, like, you know, you should be the person that's going through everyone's room, making sure that their tape is good to go, and making sure that everything that you may have messed up throughout the day is debriefed, everything, you know, as an adult does, doing all the things that we were talking about in this video, writing stuff down on the whiteboard that you want guys to do, prioritizing and tasking out different stuff for the day, and organizing teams for team gear and everything like that. You're in charge of that. So you should be thinking one step ahead or 2 steps, as far ahead as you possibly can, to make sure that the team is taken care of. That's what we expect out of cross trainees. Even if you're just E4, even if you have any stripes on your shirt, like just going up and up, and you didn't just come out of basic training. So that, and then also we expect it to be like less impulsive, because I know a lot of younger guys, they're like, oh, I want to jump out and then just quit. Like, okay, that was like that panic in the moment, and you end up quitting. But cross trainees, you can't do that because of what you said. Like, the guys are looking up to you, and they're going to follow. If you throw in the towel, then they're like, wow, if he can't do it, then I probably can't do it, because they've been looking up to that dude. So.
But did you ever really think about quitting? No. We would make jokes, be like, I'll quit tomorrow. Yeah, let's quit tomorrow. Okay. But it never, now I had hard days, you know, and on those days I bought myself a pizza, and I sat there in the day room, and I stretched and, you know, felt sorry for myself. I'm like, I suck, and, you know, I'm eating my pizza, and I'm like, went to bed, woke up refreshed, killed it the next day. Didn't let it get me. You know, my sister died a year ago, actually today. It took me a while, like, to, you know, because Mike Maltz, Doug Eggleston, Nick McCaskill, all my friends have died. I'm like, well, this is just my sister. Like, what is compared to the people that I've bled and almost died with, you know? And so it took me a while, like, to let it go. But if you feel an emotion, feel it. Let it, because if not, you end up with a dog and some issues, and then you're a mess. But so if you feel something, you know, not necessarily during WaterCon, you know, you might be like, whew, all right, I'm going to deal with this later, because you can feel it coming, but you have to be able to push it aside. So like I said, my parents are cops. And from one of their friends, he said, your day is over when you hang up your gear belt, right? Our day is over when I'm putting my kit up. I'm deployed. My day ain't over until I'm home. But I'll deal with it after, you know, and I unfortunately didn't deal with a lot of things until way after. But if you guys can earlier find someone to talk to, a mentor or a peer, you know, and that's where your 26-year-old guy at Indoc, but I'm so old. No, dude. You're in the prime of your life, mid-20s, 30s, you're stronger, smarter, here, there, right? Just because an 18-year-old kid recovers a lot quicker than you doesn't mean he's lacking this, because he doesn't have, like, well, if I fail, I'm going back to work in construction, or I'm going back to some horrible job.
Yeah.
The drive is there because they know what's waiting for them. When you're 17, 18, you don't know. You don't even know what not to know or what you don't know. You're like, I have no idea about anything. So you're older airmen, more seasoned, you know, and then just life in general. You just, hey, all right, you know. But always looking, always growing. What can I do? How can I be better? What, you know, and don't be afraid of, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, yeah, you know, you suck at that. You should do this better. Yeah. Be honest, because that's what friends are. On the teams, you know, I'm not a brutal, honest person. You know, I'll probably beat around the bush a little bit, but only because everyone takes everything so defensive. You know, you're like, hey, have you thought about, what do you mean did I think about, whoa, dude, I'm just saying, have you thought about this?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, it's harder when you're on the teams and you're talking peer to peer. The nice thing about being an instructor was you have like, all right, this is what I think and this is where you need to improve.
Right.
Because not only do I think this, but this is part of the criteria we're looking for.
Right.
So that is the nice thing about being an instructor. And, you know, I was very blunt as an instructor, but it never came from a place like, I hate you.
No.
It's always like, I want to make you better.
Yes.
Like, you need to listen to this. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings here at all.
Why? Because I'm sending you off to a team with my brothers. And if you get one of my friends killed and I let you graduate indoc, I'm going to feel like a scumbag. Right? How'd that guy get through? How many? Yeah. Hey.
Like, what are you sending us down here?
Oh, dude. And you're like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah. Like, literally, I had so many talks with that guy.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that a lot.
Yeah. Because there's only so much you can do. But you need to be able, as a person, to take critique. Mm-hmm. You know, and then, so like, I was dating this girl, and she wanted to talk about things right then. And I'm angry about it. Give me 15, 20 minutes so I can boom. So she's, you know. And I could take in what she was saying. And then I would come back 15, 20 minutes later. And when she was saying it, I was like, oh. And I could feel, you know, the anger on it. But then I could come back 15, 20 minutes later and be like, you had a good point. It just hurts. I know what you're saying. I'm doing my best. I'm this, I'm that. Ow. Yeah. You know, so let me process it. You're right. You know, or you're wrong, or whatever, you know. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, whatever you gotta be, but, you know, the truth is there, and you know it. I mean, how many of these guys, they show up and they're like, oh, you know, I'm really good at underwaters. All right, let's see. Dude, you suck at underwater.
Yeah. We had a dude that was like, oh, I can hold my breath for 10 minutes or whatever, usually. So the grads at the time, they're just like, all right, here's a bucket, here's some water, and it lasted like 45 seconds. Like, okay, so you're just talking shit.
Ooh, what's your go-to boots?
Go-to boots, I switch between Keen and Loa.
Okay. I like my Sorrels. They were lightweight, and I had those things last me forever. So, what do you like? Hey, go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has a different foot, and everyone has a different preference all the time. So, Keens were super comfortable on my foot. Yep. They don't last super long, but they're comfortable. So, I like them because of that. I can only get, you know, I fast rope for them for one deployment, and then they're done for that deployment.
Right, because, they would tear up. Ugh. I had a favorite pair of boots, man. Those lasted me forever. They died at JTM. I was so sad. I'm like, these were my boots.
JTM? How did they die at JTM? What were we doing?
We were doing the runaround stuff.
Oh, and
my boots died. Yeah, just died. I was so bummed. I was like, no. So then I discussed the mission and went wrong. Maybe we'll get that because that's a long one. You're like, well. Ooh. Most challenging and rewarding part of being a PJ?
Ooh.
That could be a long one.
Yeah.
Rewarding for me, helping people. Getting that guy gets to go home, maybe has a kid that is the president of the United States or, whatever. For me, that's the rewarding part, is helping people get home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's obviously rewarding. I think challenging. One of the things that I thought was always hard is that, like, it's always on your mind, like, constantly. Every single thing that you do, you're always trying to, like, focus.
Be better.
Focus on work, and like focus on like how you can make a kid better, staying later nights because of that. So it was challenging because being able to spend time with family and that aspect, because I want to be good at my job and I want to be prepared on everything, but also I want to be a good husband and father,
right,
and brother.
Yeah. So don't stay at work till just because. Well, I'm here till 7:00, dude. Quality. Not quantity.
Yeah.
How much work are you getting done?
Yeah, it's like when you're at the gym and you're that guy that's like, BSing with whoever for half an hour, like, oh, hey, how's it going, Joe? And you're shooting the shit.
I was at the gym for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
But you only worked out for 45 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get that one. They wanted the Abyss Law of Combat. That's a long one. I'm sorry.
We'll save some of these for the next.
It's a good one. Oh, there's another long one.
Oh.
PJ or 18 Delta.
Yeah, that's a whole video.
There's a whole 2-part video series. Ooh, least favorite pipeline school.
Least favorite? I'd say for me, I didn't like Sierra that much.
I thought Sierra was a camping trip. The only thing I didn't like about Sierra was having to kill the bunny. Because I made friends with the bunny. I'm like, oh, look, we got a bunny. Who's never killed anything? I've never killed anything. You get to kill the... What? I just made friends with the bunny. Dude, I felt so bad.
Well, for me, it was just because it was cold and wet and rainy the whole time we were on the field.
Right.
It was just like I couldn't get anything dry. And I was just like, oh, this sucks. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being slapped. I'm tired of being cold. I'm tired of being wet. So that's the only reason that I say that.
I went through in December. It was snowy. And I would take 3 steps and then fall because it was so... I'm like, man, they got these cute little Christmas trees. I didn't realize it was an 18-foot tree. That was just the tip. So that was very fun. Best running shoes. What do you like?
I always do Brooks. And I recently got into some Solomons just because they last a little bit longer than the Brooks, but I always do Brooks.
What's your foot? Are you a pronator, a supinator?
Yeah.
And don't buy those low zero arch shoes and not learn to run because you have to totally relearn how to run. And then shin splints.
And even the guys that I saw show up to selection with those minimalist shoes or whatever, they would end up getting shin splints or they get their feet jacked up because they're going to be running in anywhere the instructor wants to go.
Yeah.
So if you don't have protection, then you're going to get your foot messed up.
I need a little padding. I'm not a stomper, but I'm definitely not a light runner.
I'm not a gazelle.
Yeah, no, I wish I could be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you want to grab me? Or I'm
good
to grab him. Ooh, what's your favorite assignment and why?
I like being in England.
I loved Okinawa.
Overseas, yeah. I want to go to Okinawa. I haven't had the chance to go there yet, but that's definitely on my list. I want to go anywhere in Asia, be stationed over there, and just go, like we were talking about before.
See the world.
See the world.
Yeah, loved Oki. Oki was awesome. I was at the 320th. Life was good, man. Because if there was waves in the morning, we'd go surfing. There was waves at lunch, I'd go surfing. And then I had till 6 o'clock at the daycare to pick up the kids. So if there were still waves after work, I'd catch like a half hour and then go get the kids. And, so I loved. That's a long one. Oh, no, that's a really long one. Tips for joining with wife and kids. I've covered that a couple times. I mean, it's like, hey, we even covered that in the last video.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit. So check out that last video.
Which I enjoyed. Like, it's nice to have someone we talk about bounce back, but also I think we have a pretty good rapport of just like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, just being able to talk about whatever thing that comes up, which is why we have a bowl of things to talk about here, which we have a lot. And we're not going to get through all of these.
No.
Right now.
Well, we will.
Yeah,
but you brought up, like, when your wife made amazing dinner, right? And
It was
and
really good.
somebody had asked a question like, how long have we known each other?
Oh yeah.
We've just met. I mean, we've met, but just started talking
Yeah.
pretty much a month or
Yeah.
two ago. But we're both PJs. We're both human beings. We're both Americans. We're both...
Trying to help people and put out good messages and just get the mindset right so you guys can be PJs and save lives.
So it's easy to make bros,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, it's easy not to make bros as well, but if you're not a jerk, you're nice, and you got a pretty good personality, what can't I work with?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, we knew of each other. We just never had conversations
Yep.
before because he was an instructor and we just missed each other.
Yep.
So, reached out. Boom, here we are.
Here we are.
We literally have been talking. You guys aren't seeing all this, but we've been talking like the whole time for hours and hours and hours, even off of the camera.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, success rate for candidates in their 30s. I say it's good.
I say it's high.
Yep. Don't be like, well, these kids are so young. No. It mindset, because,
Definitely don't think you're better.
don't think you're better.
Oh, yeah. I'll read it first. So this is, TC wants to know, is it true that when Mike Maroney cuts onions, the onions cry?
We both cry. So we're all unhappy.
Yeah, they're both empathetic towards each other.
We are. We feel each other's pain.
Yeah.
Ooh. How do so many guys quit on day one after completing 8 weeks of prep?
Yeah, so that's what we were talking about before.
You know,
The,
you're not prepared.
yeah.
Just be prepared. Like Jocko says, don't worry. And then I say, be prepared.
All right.
Oh, are we done?
I don't know. How many do you want to go through before we...
What? I figured we could do...
Oh, you still got time?
Oh. How about 2 more?
All right. 2 more.
2 more. Oh. When's your next training event?
All right. Next training event is going to be end of April
Okay.
here in San Antonio.
I am doing on February 10th, come tread. I haven't picked a pool yet, but I got a cone fit SA. So it's SA.
Cone fit SA.
Because, cone fit, because it's a joke. Because
Yeah.
everything's fit. So cone fit.
Oh, yeah.
So that was our take. But on February 10th, I'm going to find a pool and just go treading. Because I used to like to go on when I was a student, instructors would come on the weekends and help us.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I was an instructor, that's what I would do. And we would just tread. And I called it going to church. Because we would talk about whatever. Mm-hmm. What do you want to talk about? Well, how do I be a good man? Or how do I be a good husband? Or how do I be a good father? Love, right? Intentions. Maybe, because nobody likes their dad. Which is wait, dude. Nobody listens to their dad. You're just like, what? But it's okay. Because you find other dads, like the Spartans. You have your father, but you have somebody who's there to help you out.
Takes a village.
It does take a village.
Exactly. So, go tread with Mike
Go tread.
if you're in San Antonio.
In San Antonio, or come to San Antonio. Ooh, and we'll end with what sports should you play?
Boom.
Boom.
All right. So, the sports that I think you should play whenever you're in high school or you have a chance to play those things: swimming, obviously, cross country, wrestling, and I think I was watching at the last event, they had some kind of synchronized swimming thing going on over there. And I was like, holy crap. These people are upside down, and then their whole
legs
butts
are
up out of the water, and they're over here treading with one hand, and then they're controlling their circular motion with the other hand. It's like, if you guys can be that comfortable in the water, upside down, holding your breath, doing synchronized stuff, obviously it's a weird thing to do, but I was impressed, and then on the other side of the pool, I was doing the event. Yeah, and there were guys that were just choking. I was like, holy crap, that's really awesome what these people are doing on the other side of the pool there.
Yep.
So, but that's awesome. And then surfing, I think, is a really good thing for guys because getting crushed by waves, that just gets you used
Prepared.
to yeah. Like, there's no one that's going to control that. You just need to control what happens up here as you're getting crushed. Roll out of that thing, and then, like, oh wait, I didn't get that breath. No. Okay, got the next breath.
Yep.
So,
I like soccer as well because other than mass genocide, there's no other more cardiologically difficult because you're just in a soccer game. You run 8 miles on average. So run, which run on land, run on grass, run barefoot, run with shoes. Get used to just running. Period. And then I was thinking, what about maybe like our next video? We'll see if we could go do the synchronized swimming. Like maybe we could just check it out.
Yeah, I mean, if they were willing to like teach us how to do that, that would be actually pretty cool. Like,
I think that would be a good. And then because I'm thinking yoga, Pilates, what can more well-round me and make me better? Well, with my feet up out of the water, what is this? That's nothing.
Yeah, we can do this
all day.
I mean, but if you guys get a chance to look at the video of synchronized swimming, it's really impressive. I know it sounds weird, and I thought of it as like something that they do for ads back in the 50s, but it's not that. It's difficult.
But the debate team, right? Use your mind. As a PJ, you're not playing checkers. We're playing chess. 8 steps ahead. How far can you think ahead? Ta-da. And I think that, well-rounded. So sports and academics, not necessarily, well, I suck at science. Okay, I suck at science.
Yeah.
I don't like math. But I know enough math that I can do calculations or drug drip calculations or weight ratio, well-rounded human being, well-rounded PJ, total package.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish I would have actually done more speech classes back in college when I failed because I think that's a really important thing to have, especially if, like you're talking about, you're going to be that senior airman or whatever that's giving out the plan, like, this is our plan to do this and this and this. If you can speak confidently and enunciate and be able to, have a good plan, then that just sets you apart from the rest of the pack. So we still have a lot of questions here,
and all these
that we didn't end up doing. So yeah, that were just pretty heavy topics. So next time we have some stuff here, and we'll go through more of these questions for sure. I definitely appreciate you coming over and doing this again. I always have fun whenever we come over and like BS. It's pretty easy to just talk and be able to whatever's on our minds. And hopefully it helps you guys watching. I know these end up being a little bit longer, but it's because, we have so many things like, this topic. And it's a lot easier to cover each other. Like, in this part, we just round each other out. So, I definitely appreciate you being here. You said the Come Tread With Me is on what
February
day?
10th.
February 10th. And where do you go to your channel to?
So, I had to get back on social media, which we can get into that conversation too about social media and I understand it's an evil. So I got back on Facebook. So I got ConeFit SA because it's SA, and so I'll put the little reminders or whatever on that. It's a Facebook. I had a Cone started because I didn't. Okay. I even had a Cone used to run it for me, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna because there have been times where I've had like 8 guys that I was working with at one time, and we're just like, hey, we're gonna be at the Fort Sam Pool Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Meet us at noon. Come on out. So just as much as I can do, but yeah, February 10th will be the first, so I guess look on Facebook. Ugh.
Yeah.
Feels so dirty.
All right, so ConeFit on Facebook. Hit him up. That way you guys can go out and tread with Mike if you're in the San Antonio area during that time. And then aside from that, like I said, my event's going to be end of April. I'll put out more dates on Instagram and the email system that we have. If you're signed up for the event notifications, you'll get them through there. And then also Like, I don't know if you wanted to come out or not, but we can.
Yeah, I would love to, dude.
We can discuss, that stuff if you're available. It's going to be an awesome event, and I have a couple other dudes that I'm newer instructors that I'm going to try and bring out, like possibly J-Mac. I don't know if you know J-Mac.
Oh, I know J-Mac. J-Mac,
Yeah.
I used to get. He's a hobbit like me.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a hobbit.
Short blonde, short brown.
Short brown.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm trying to see if he can come out, and then some of the other instructors that I've had on. So, yeah, whatever we can do, I have a lot of fun with those events. And then also, last couple things. Again, I'm coming out with this new shirts. Come about 2 more weeks, they should be available. And then just make sure that you guys are spending time getting to know each other. Find a group out there. Find a teammate somewhere that you can train with, somebody like-minded, and make sure that you are, bouncing stuff off each other. Because if you're just going it alone, you don't know if you're going the right way. You don't know if what you're doing is
I'm awesome.
the best. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're not.
And you show up and you're like, wow, I'm terrible at everything. So, bounce stuff off of other people. You can always hit myself or Mr. Maroney up, and whatever questions we can answer, we'll answer for you. Help you guys out. Yes, pleasure as always.
Dude, we got to do this more often.
Yeah, definitely. As long as the only barrier is my test.
No. But you did well.
Yeah.
So
I ended up getting A's on my first test.
because he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm a tired motherfucker. So, thanks again, guys, for watching. And you guys, we'll go over these questions in a later date. But make sure you subscribe to his channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And we'll keep on doing this stuff. Thanks again. We'll catch you guys later.
We are.